17-year-old Jake Morrison never thought he was special. But when Earth joined the Interstellar Council, he became the first human student at an alien academy. What he didn't know was that every alien in the galaxy already feared him, and it wouldn't take long for him to find out why. Jake stepped off the shuttle and into Kepler Station, the largest space station he'd ever seen. Lights blinked across massive steel corridors, alien languages filled the air, and his old gym bag felt heavier than ever. He wasn't here as a soldier. He wasn't here as a scientist. He was just a student. The Galactic Youth Exchange Program had picked him out of thousands. A normal kid from Earth, now walking into Zenith Academy, an alien school unlike anything humans had ever seen. 17-year-old Jake Morrison never thought himself as special. No medals, no genius certificates. Just a kid from a small town on Earth who loved late-night video games, pizza, and pick-up basketball with his friends. But the galaxy thought differently. When Earth was welcomed into the Interstellar Council, the spotlight turned to humanity, not as warriors, not as leaders, but as curiosities, a species from a world classified as hostile environment, Class 12. And Jake, he was chosen to represent humanity at Zenith Academy, not because he was a prodigy, but because he was normal. When the shuttle doors hissed open, a wave of alien chatter rolled in. Jake stepped into Kepler Station, clutching his old gym bag like a lifeline. His sneakers squeaked against the polished floor, drawing attention. The hall was a sea of color, beings with shimmering scales, translucent skin, eye stalks that twitched at his every move. Some stared wide-eyed. Others whispered nervously in languages the translators struggled to keep up with. Jake's throat tightened. Great, he muttered to himself. Day one, and I'm already the zoo exhibit. But deep down, he had no idea. This wasn't just curiosity. It was fear. The office smelled faintly of ozone and something like burned cinnamon. Jake shifted in his chair, trying not to look uncomfortable. The chair wasn't built for humans. It was made for six-legged insectoids. Across the desk sat Principal Vexer, his mandibles clicking rhythmically. His exoskeleton shimmered a metallic green under the office lights, and his compound eyes studied Jake with a cold precision. Vexer finally spoke, voice deep and resonant. Human, Jake Morrison, you are the first of your kind to enter Zenith Academy. The council has permitted this experiment. Jake smiled nervously, scratching the back of his neck. Experiment? I thought I was here to, study, learn some stuff, make some friends, maybe play some sports. The principal's mandibles twitched. Jake couldn't tell if that was amusement or irritation. You misunderstand. This academy is not merely an institution of learning. It is a crucible. The brightest and strongest minds of the galaxy gather here to hone themselves. And you, the insectoid lean closer, are from a Class 12 death world. Jake frowned. Yeah, people keep saying that. But Earth's not that bad. We've got pizza, video games, ice cream. What's so scary about it? The principal's compound eyes widened, reflecting the office lights like twin mirrors. Your oceans are filled with leviathans the size of transports. Your skies host storms that can rip cities from their roots. Your plants secrete toxins potent enough to paralyze most species. And yet you call this not that bad. Jake laughed awkwardly. Well, when you grow up with it, you kind of stop noticing. Sharks? Just don't swim too close. Hurricanes? You bunker down and wait it out. Poison ivy? Wear long sleeves. It's just life. Vexer tilted his head, mandibles clicking faster now, almost like nervous tapping. Do you not realize? No civilization in this sector would have survived a single century on your planet. Yet you thrive. Jake shifted in his seat again, starting to feel the weight of those alien eyes. I mean, I guess humans are tough, but we don't think of ourselves like that. We're just people. The principal leaned back, robes whispering against the floor. You are predators that do not know they are predators. That ignorance terrifies us most of all. The silence stretched. Jake swallowed, unsure if he should thank him or run. Finally, Vexer spoke again, softer this time. Go, attend your classes, learn. But understand this, Jake Morrison, every being in this academy fears you, even if they do not yet know why. Jake stood up slowly, slinging his bag over his shoulder. Well, guess I'll try to make a good first impression. The insectoid's mandibles clicked once more, sharp, final. For your sake and ours, I hope you succeed. The door slid open with a hiss, and Jake stepped into the corridor. The hallway stretched high above his head, filled with alien architecture, arched ceilings of polished stone, infused with glowing crystals, walls that shimmered with shifting symbols instead of posters. Dozens of students milled about, each more alien than the last. Some floated inside containment spheres, translucent skin pulsing with inner light. Others skittered on multiple legs, claws tapping against the polished floor. A group of avians with feathered crests eyed Jake warily, whispering in tones that sounded like flutes. Everywhere he went, conversations stopped. Heads turned. Eyes, compound, multifaceted, glowing or otherwise, followed him. Jake swallowed hard. Man, this is worse than being the new kid in high school. A voice suddenly piped up behind him. High-pitched, quick, almost buzzing. You're the human. Jake turned. A small alien hovered at eye level, like a floating jellyfish, with tendrils that sparked faint arcs of blue electricity. Jake raised a hand awkwardly. Hey. Yeah, I guess that's me. Name's Jake. The jellyfish bobbed excitedly. They said you survived oceans of monsters, that you wrestle beasts for food. Is it true? Jake blinked. What? No, I fish sometimes, sure, but not with my bare hands. That's just, he stopped. Okay, some people actually do that, but not me. The jellyfish gave a squeal of delight and zipped away, leaving behind a trail of sparks. Jake sighed. Great. Now they think I fight sea monsters in my free time. The first class was Xenohistory, a massive amphitheater with tiered seats rising into the ceiling. Holographic stars floated in the center, constellations bending and reshaping as the instructor lectured. Jake slid into an empty seat. Immediately, the students around him leaned back, giving him space. A reptilian student with golden eyes hissed under her breath. That's him, the Death Worlder. Jake pretended not to notice, pulling out his datapad. The instructor, a crystalline being that pulsed with shifting light, paused mid-lecture when their faceted eyes landed on him. For a long second, silence filled the hall. Then the instructor cleared their throat. Well, the sound was more like glass wind chimes and continued, but the eyes remained. Jake tried to focus, but the whispers around him wouldn't stop. They say his planet rains acid water. No, it rains liquid fire. I heard his species eats metal to grow stronger. Jake pressed a palm to his face. Seriously? Who comes up with this stuff? Later, he wandered into what looked like a gym, or at least the alien equivalent. The floor shimmered with energy grids, designed for combat practice. A group of towering, armored students sparred at one end. Their movements were precise, honed, almost military. One of them, a hulking brute with 4 arms and stone-like skin, noticed Jake watching. Human, you wish to test yourself. Jake held up his hands. No thanks. I just got here. I don't even know the rules. The brute rumbled a laugh. On a death world, there are no rules, only survival. The surrounding students murmured in agreement, their gazes sharpening. The air seemed to thicken. Jake felt the weight of their expectations pressing in. He raised his hands again, more defensively this time. "Look, guys, I'm just trying to survive math class. Can we start there before we get to combat practice?" The crowd chuckled nervously, yet it didn't remove the edge in their stares. Pause built suspense. Jake walked away, but the whispers followed him, growing with every step. Some were impressed, some were fearful, but all of them were watching. And for the first time, Jake realized maybe Principal Vexer was right. Maybe he was dangerous, even if he didn't know it yet. Jake had barely been at the academy for 2 days when the summons came. A message appeared on his datapad. Mandatory participation. Proving grounds trial. Jake frowned. Proving grounds? That doesn't sound like a study session. The proving grounds weren't just a gym. They were a coliseum. A wide circular arena stretched before him, its floors shifting with glowing hexagonal plates that rearranged themselves into obstacles, walls, trenches, even simulated environments. Above, dozens of alien students crowded the balconies, chittering, hissing, or humming in anticipation. Jake stood alone at the center, his simple academy uniform sticking out like a sore thumb. From the shadows, a towering four-armed student stepped forward, the same brute he'd seen sparring in the training yard. His skin was rough as volcanic rock, eyes glowing faint amber. The crowd roared in approval. Jake's stomach dropped. Oh, great. Of course it's him. Principal Vexer's voice boomed from above, translated through hidden speakers. As is tradition, the new arrival must demonstrate their capacity to endure. Only then shall they be recognized as a peer. Jake muttered under his breath. Tradition? This place is starting to feel less like a school and more like an alien fraternity. The brute cracked his knuckles, all 4 sets of them. Do not fear, human. I will make your end quick. Jake raised his hands. Whoa, hold on. Nobody said anything about ends. I thought this was a trial, not a funeral. The brute lunged. The arena floor shifted beneath Jake's feet, forcing him to leap aside as a wall shot up. He ducked instinctively, years of backyard football and high school PE drills coming back in a rush. A massive fist slammed into the wall where he'd been standing, shattering the hexagonal barrier into glowing shards. The crowd roared louder. Jake stumbled back, heart racing. Okay, don't die. Rule number 1. Don't die. The brute charged again. Jake sidestepped purely on instinct, and the alien's momentum carried him straight into another wall. The impact shook the entire arena. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Jake blinked. Wait, did I just dodge that? The brute snarled, pulling himself free of the wreckage. Lucky move. You will not evade me again. Jake exhaled. Buddy, I played dodgeball in middle school. Evading is my only skill. The alien swung again. Jake ducked under the blow, adrenaline surging. He wasn't fighting, he was surviving. Every step, every roll, every frantic dodge only seemed to make the brute angrier. Then it happened. The brute raised both upper fists, preparing to smash down. Jake, acting on nothing but instinct, grabbed one of the alien's lower arms and pivoted. The alien's own weight carried him forward, and to the shock of everyone watching, including Jake himself, he went flying. The brute slammed into the arena floor, cracking the glowing hex tiles. Dust and light burst upward. Silence. Every alien in the stand stared in disbelief. Jake, panting, blinked down at the fallen brute. I just judo flipped a rock monster. The crowd erupted. Gasps, shouts, even fearful whispers. Impossible. The human overpowered Groth. Death world strength, it's real. Jake raised his hands nervously. Hey, I didn't mean to. He kinda just fell into it. Total accident. But the way they looked at him told a different story. To them, this wasn't an accident. It was proof. Proof that the human wasn't weak. Proof that he was dangerous. And in that moment, Jake realized something terrifying. They weren't laughing at him anymore. They were afraid. Word traveled fast. Jake had barely stepped out of the proving grounds when the whispers began. Alien students huddled in corners, glancing at him as if he were radioactive. His name, or something close to it, was already being murmured in dozens of dialects. Jake groaned as he passed a group of insectoid students. That's him, the Death Worlder. He threw Groth like he weighed nothing. Impossible. Groth crushed a graviton boulder last year. Jake muttered to himself, I didn't throw him. He tripped with my help. Sort of. By the time he reached the dormitory, his reputation had mutated like wildfire. A reptilian cadet with glossy scales hissed in awe. Human Jake wrestled Groth barehanded. A trio of feathered avians fluttered excitedly. No, you got it wrong. He crushed Groth's bones with one strike. Jake stopped mid-step. Seriously? I dodged. That's all. Dodged. But the rumors didn't stop. They grew bigger with every retelling. By the next morning, Jake overheard two crystalline students whispering outside the cafeteria. They say the human can see in the dark, and that his planet's gravity is so strong, he trains by lifting mountains. Jake face-bombed. Mountains? Really? The heaviest thing I've ever lifted is a Costco-sized pack of bottled water. Inside the cafeteria, things had shifted. Where before aliens jostled past him, now they moved aside. The tables that had been full suddenly had empty seats. Save for him. Jake hesitated, tray in hand. Okay, either I become popular overnight or I smell really bad. A nervous insectoid cadet scuttled up and pushed a strange glowing fruit toward him. A gift? Human warrior. May it honor your conquest. Jake blinked. Conquest? Buddy, I barely survived not getting turned into a pancake. The cadet scurried away before he could protest. At last, Jake dropped his tray across from Zek, the feline-like student who had spoken up in class earlier. Zek flicked his tail, smirking. Zek, congratulations. You've done in 2 days what most of us never do in 2 years. Jake! Yeah, what's that? Almost get flattened. Zek! No! You earned their fear. And fear is respect where we come from. Jake sighed, poking at the glowing food. Fantastic. I wanted friends, and instead I got a fan club that thinks I can bench press a starship. Zek leaned closer. His sharp eyes gleamed with curiosity. Zek, tell me, Jake, is it true? On your world, you wrestle beasts larger than star cruisers for sport. Jake nearly choked on his drink. What? But even as he laughed, Jake realized the truth. The more they misunderstood him, the more dangerous they believed he was. And in a place where survival depended on perception, maybe, just maybe, that wasn't such a bad thing. Still, as the whispers grew louder, Jake couldn't shake the uneasy thought. If a simple accident had sparked this much fear, what would happen when they saw what humans were really capable of? By the end of the week, Jake's legend had grown beyond the Academy's halls. Whispers had become chatter. Chatter had become stories. Stories had reached the ears of the Council of Elders, the governing body of the Interstellar Academy, who rarely interfered in student affairs unless something or someone was extraordinary. The chamber floated high above the Academy, a dome of translucent crystal overlooking the city's zero-gravity training fields. Council members hovered in anti-gravity chairs, their forms diverse beyond imagination. Crystalline entities, multi-limbed intelligences, bioluminescent shades, and a few humanoids with cybernetic augmentations. One counselor, a serpentine figure with shifting scales, leaned forward. Counselor Vale. Reports indicate a human named Jake has dispatched Groth in what can only be described as unthinkable methods. A crystalline counselor's voice chimed like shattered glass. Counselor Clyra. Unthinkable? You mean he dodged a novice wrestling champion? Vale's eyes narrowed. Vale! Precisely. The reports exaggerate. Of course, yet exaggeration breeds influence. He has become a symbol among the student body. That in itself is noteworthy. Meanwhile, Jake was unaware of the high-level scrutiny swirling above him. He was finishing a late-night training session, lifting weights far lighter than what rumors suggested he could handle. Zek leaned against the wall, tail flicking, observing silently. Zek, you know, they're probably watching you right now. Jake, watching me? For what? To see if I sleep like a normal human. Zek, not quite. Let's just say your reputation has caught the council's eye. Jake froze, dumbfounded. You mean the people in the big floating chamber above? The ones I can't even see without a telescope. Zek nodded, smirking. Zek, that's the one. Congratulations. You've officially become a curiosity. Back in the chamber, discussion intensified. Counselor Vale. If the rumors hold even a fragment of truth, humans are unpredictable. That is a dangerous variable. Counselor Clyra. Dangerous, yes, but also potentially invaluable. Imagine a species capable of such improvisation. We might be seeing the first truly adaptive combatant in centuries. Vale, adaptive or reckless? We must decide, test him, recruit him, or contain him. A bioluminescent member pulsed with urgency. Counselor Fyra, contain? You would risk stifling potential? This is exactly the kind of anomaly the Academy was built to study. Vale's scales shimmer with thought. Vale! Very well. We shall observe him more closely. Perhaps it is time the human proves if his abilities are genuine or merely luck. Jake stared at a small, alien hologram he had found in the Academy library. A message from the Council, cryptic but unmistakable. Your actions have drawn attention. Prepare for observation. Your next challenge will not be as it seems. Jake's eyes widened. Next challenge? Observation? Oh no, I thought surviving the first one was hard. Zek leaned in, whispering, Zek, welcome to the real Academy human. The game has only just begun. Jake sank onto his cot, the weight of expectation pressing harder than any training regimen. For the first time, he realized surviving the Academy was no longer just about dodging accidents or rumors. It was about proving humanity itself could stand among the stars.